All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy by your side.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Sorry about the delay. I had planned on doing something a certain way on this video, on this topic that we're going to be talking about here, and that's this an update on my return. And it didn't go so well as far as my planning because it didn't. I didn't. Hold on, bear with me a second. There we go. It didn't. I didn't give myself enough time to make sure that it was everything was in place. So it's kind of what I was scrambling around for. So I apologize for that. So hopefully we can do this together and you guys can kind of see what this process looks like. Now, let me give you an update. For those of you guys who watched my video on Saturday, I put out a video that was talking about a return that I received. I actually received the return on Friday, and it was let's see if I can pull it up here. It is that Samsung crisper cover that I sold that was brand new. I'll go to it here, and there we go. Now, this item is it was new. I sent it out. You guys saw the video. The video, they returned back the item in the same box, which is expected. It was returned. They opened a return because they said that it was. They said that it didn't fit. Now, okay, that could be they bought it for maybe their Samsung refrigerator, saying it looks like the one we have, and then it's not. So my bad. We'll open a return. And when you open a return where it doesn't fit, it's a remorse return where you are on the hook for the return label and you don't get the original shipping back. So I wasn't thinking it was a scam because usually scammers are savvy enough to go in and put it on the seller, like not as described, that kind of thing. So they get all their money back and get to keep the item too. So the item came, I started opening it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I noticed right away the amount of dirt and grime that it has a glass that fits into this thing, and with two clips that hold it into place. Now, I didn't notice the missing clip, but I did notice that there's so much dirt and grime under the glass in the corners, and there's hair. Now, someone in the comments, I don't know if they're just trying to be difficult with me, but they're like, well, that's certainly likely because their dog or cat could have gotten to the box. Now, think about it. This is like a 30-inch long box by 20-inch wide by that thick, about 3 inches thick.
There's no cat getting in there.
No dog or cat's getting inside that box. Okay, Good theory, but it ain't. Maybe they left that on their floor and their cat decided it was their new bed and it laid in it for a while, but not to the point where it causes grime. And there's hair between the glass and the plastic. She cleaned it, not me.
Yeah, I literally had to take the glass out of its casing to get the hairs out because they were stuck in between the glass and the plastic. So that hair has been there. And it wasn't from us.
Item received on the 13th, return open on the 14th, put back in the mail on the 15th. Okay, it's not enough time to build that kind of grime in anything. Okay, so this is all the, and I guess you can say this isn't my first rodeo either. I've seen it, almost seen it all. So when you're looking at maybe they just handled it versus this is their old unit. Okay, so by now I feel like I'm the expert at dealing with fraudulent items coming in and being able to determine the difference. So I don't know what viewer it was, but he wanted to kind of go and, like make it look like I was trying to, trying to keep the money so I didn't have to give the buyer a refund. I mean, there's times that I give buyers money back when they report a problem. They show me photos, and they show like one today on your account. They sent me a message saying that the part that we sent them, it had a broken clip, and it's just like the part they have that's broken, so it's no use to them. And she sent me, I said, can you send me a photo of it? She sent me a photo with the two parts side by side. And I mean, it's like, okay, that to me, I went right away and gave her, it was like a $30 refund. Gave her her money back. Okay. No need to open a return. We took care of the situation. If you're able to show me that something went wrong, or it's not right and it's not the buyer's fault, I'm the first one to make sure we take care of it. So I'm not trying to avoid refunding buyers. It's just ridiculous. Anybody who thinks that about me, thinks that I don't have the integrity to deal with the refund the right way, doesn't know who I am. But that said, I'm like, okay, the first thing I thought was, well, I guess this is a good video for a Saturday. So I decided to make a video because I thought, it's like really strange. How do you get hair inside of a produce cover from the inside of your refrigerator?
I mean,
I don't know.
I do understand that animal hair, especially cats or even dogs that have long hair, that hair can get everywhere, right? Thankfully, our dogs do not shed. And so it clearly was not theirs because it was definitely a different color. Our dogs are like nearly white and like a blonde color. And this hair was dark. And it was definitely either a cat or a dog. And it was the way that it was stuck in between the glass and the plastic. It had been there a while.
Guys, don't put your cat or dog in the refrigerator. It doesn't work out well. That said, because I don't know how else you can get it in there. That said, I decided to make the video. Now, here's what went kind of wild. I did a Windows update on my computer. Unbeknownst to me, it wiped out my sound. My microphone. My microphone didn't work. So I went through the whole video where I actually went in and did the process. And I said, yeah, I'll do the 50%, but you can go here and report the buyer. I guess we can, go and report the buyer. I went and reported the buyer, and it said, okay, we opened a case for you. And I attached the 2 photos of the dirty unit. And I'm like, okay, guys, I guess it's open a case. That means I can't refund it. I guess we'll see how it goes. I did the video, I played it back, and it's just me running my mouth. So I had to get creative and redo it once I fixed the microphone. And I'm like, okay, well, we ended up, going through and opening a case on a buyer. It's not the way I would have normally done it. But I got good news. Well, I got news yesterday. I thought it was good news. The good news was that eBay found the case in my favor, and they even said that the buyer wasn't eligible for protections. So I thought, well, that's interesting. They're not even eligible for the protections. Let me get it here. Yeah, here it is. So it says, we reviewed the case and closed without any refund to the buyer. The case will not affect your seller performance. Any feedback left for this transaction will be removed. Here it is. The request did not meet the criteria to be eligible for an eBay money back guarantee. Cool. That means that, heck, I got my money back. I got a broken item that had a missing clip. We found out when she went to clean it. I'm like, we're thinking we're gonna lose the case. This is all before they came back, and I'm like, we're probably gonna lose the case. I said, if you feel like it's worth salvaging, cleaning, then go ahead and clean it for me. And she noticed there was a missing clip. I said, we could sell it at a discount. Someone would still be able to use it because the need for the clip is only when you're removing the glass from the refrigerator anyway. It
doesn't stop it from working and doing its purpose.
So last night, got a message from eBay, and it said, here it is, payment dispute filed. Payment dispute filed. The buyer filed a payment dispute for an order placed on June 8th. This means that they disputed a charge directly with their payment institution. They're requesting $138.42 back, and the reason for this dispute is that the buyer hasn't received a refund. Well, no duh. They didn't receive a refund, eBay, because you went in and said that I won the case. And apparently that, to me, means that I should have some seller protection here, at least in my mind. But as you can see here, it says respond to dispute. So I go to respond to the dispute. I was going to do this last night, But I thought, let's do it together on the live. So of course I'm going to challenge. If I lose, I'll pay $20. It's worth. I'm going to fight for my account. eBay won't, and I don't agree to have them take out $138 out of my account. So I'm a gambling guy. Let's go for it. So I hit continue. Well, they're going to let AI refine it for me, but I don't know if you guys have time for me to type this in. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put all the photos. Now I have some before and afters. I was going to do this on my phone. That's why I have all the, looks like a kid got a hold of these photos. But it only lets me put 5. So, okay. So I have some of the, let me remove that one. I'll put this there. Where's that same plastic film? I'll put that there. Okay. So I have some that point out the dirt and grime. So we look at the dirt. You guys want to see how dirty that is? Tell me that is something that can be done in one day. Look at all the hairs and underneath the glass. You got some of the dirt. Here's more on the other side. And it's beyond me why they thought, well, we need to replace it, because again, the glass is in place unless you lift this up out of the refrigerator. So here's the missing plastic clip that holds the glass. Again, excuse my 5th grade writing. It's not easy to write with your hand on a or write letters on a phone. This is the new one. So you see the new one. Cover's new with plastic film. Okay, there's nothing dirty about this unit, and this is the item sent to the buyer. There's nothing wrong with this. This has all the, if this doesn't fit, first of all, they're going to have these plastic the tape on there holding the glass. Okay. They're not going to remove the plastic film. Why would you remove it if it fits? So they lied in their return request. There is no reason for them to have the return, but yet, oops, here we are. I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to do this. Now, let me ask you guys, so we can make this a little interactive. How would you approach this? They give you 1,000 characters to type this all in. Now, I suppose I could do this on the live. It also allows you to, I thought was pretty cool, is just being ridiculous. Refine with AI. This is eBay's AI, by the way. I'll refine it with AI. So it just does. It doesn't do anything but go in and actually refine it for. I could put anything in there and it'll do it. So you want to use up as many characters as you can. And what I will do after the show is done is I'll go in here and type up whatever. I'll let eBay refine it. I'll refine what the AI wants to say and add some more to it, refine it, keep refining it until it actually looks the way I want it to, and then I'll send it off. If you need to say more than 1,000 letters, go into your Word or your MS Word, type in a 1-page. Don't go any more than 1 page. A 1-page document to supplement what they're giving you a chance to say. So you could say when you're challenging it, I've included a sheet showing the breakdown or all the steps that I took or whatever you want to say, and that will also be considered, because what happens here is this is the documentation that eBay then sends over to the credit card company. The credit card company also will then make the buyer support their case. It's not enough for them to go on and click a button and saying, hey, I didn't get my refund. They have to support that, and there's a place they can go and upload that too. And by a certain date, they have to have their site uploaded by, just like you do, and then they go into like a mediation thing. Just because it's filed with the credit card company from the buyer doesn't necessarily mean that the buyer is going to win the case. There's I'm sure these credit cards have seen it all. Seen fraud cases, seen people dispute things when there's no need to dispute. So that's kind of how you go through it. Okay, and it's the same process on the app as well, because I was doing this on the app the other night. So I'm going to finish this when the live is over with, because I don't think you guys want to sit here and see me try to type up and refine the entire story over and over again and mess with AI and the process. I'll deal with that later. You guys get the gist of it. Then you got to wait. It's going to take, I think, 90 to 180 days or something, up to 6 months to get word back. I had one where I fought through PayPal when we were actually dealing with PayPal, where I sold a pair of AirPods, and they received them. It was a new buyer, and immediately opened up an item not as described. Didn't even try to go through the return process, and I don't know what happened there, but PayPal denied the thing. I lost out on $120 at the time. This is back in 2019. We had all those AirPods. So, want to know what you guys think. How would you handle this? Would you even go through the process? Would you defend yourself? Is it worth, eBay might, and I can tell you a story on this one real quick. eBay might come back and say, well, the credit card company said you lost, you owe $20. We've deducted it from your money. But I have called eBay when I've done that and lost a case. The only case I've lost, knock on wood. And they said, don't worry, we'll credit you the $20. So it's like a one-time courtesy. So that's something that you can do as well. So what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay. So put your comments down below. Let me know what you think. It's not as long of a diatribe as it could have been. So I could sit here and be working on right now typing this dispute up. But I figure you guys get the idea. You get the gist of it. It's not anything to freak out about, but get your ducks in a row. If I find that when I go to type this up, I'm going to need more than 1,000 letters or 1,000 characters, I will then consider, because you only have five files you can upload. I will consider maybe taking one of these out, maybe the other one that shows the one I sent them, and replace it with a Word document to really explain and make my case that no buyer is going to return an item as doesn't fit and remove all the plastic film and tape and all that. Doesn't make any sense. Not to mention the wear and tear on it. So let's see who we have here with us today. We've got Keith. Says, watch video and told you it may have been you. You didn't report by mistake. Just your mind trying to tell you something and hit it without thinking. No. Let's see. Yes. Hi, John and Jenna and the FA chat. Let's hope chat behaves today. Chat's always misbehaving.
I know.
I mean, that's part of the show.
It's been a long time since we've gone off rails, though.
Yeah.
I mean...
What, are you trying to wish for it?
No.
So Andy Reynos says, are you kidding me? Nice to see you. And Mike, sliding in at third today. How is everyone doing? Good. Awesome. How are you doing?
Hot.
Mike says, kudos to you, John, for standing up to the scammer buyer. Even though you thought eBay might have sided with him, we really have to maintain the integrity of the platform and not let them do this. And it isn't about, I'm going to get the buyer or I'm going to show them. And it's not about trying to be right either. It's eBay gives us the tools. They give us the tools to deduct 50%. They give us the tools to report a buyer. Another viewer that I talk to every so often, they said that I guess you get a freebie. You get a freebie once every year to report the buyer, and eBay will side with you like they did with me and give, and you should save it for a high value. I'm not even, I didn't do that on purpose. I promise you. I just was trying to show people that you could, in the original video, that you can report the buyer. But what I was trying to say is that when you deduct 50% on a refund, it automatically reports the buyer based on the reason that you're using. Yes, I was 6 hours early in putting up the link because I knew last night what I was going to talk about. So the first thing I did this morning was I went in and I just created the live with this title. Derek says first, second, third, and I guess I'm the bold-headed nerd.
I think he's meant bald.
Oh, it could be bold-headed. Right. Nothing wrong with being bold-headed.
You don't look bald in your picture. What the heck?
Well, maybe it's happening.
Must be an old picture.
Maybe it's happening. Maybe it's in process.
Yeah, kind of like this guy.
I'm not. I got hair. I got a lot of hair. It thins, right? But it ain't. You know what? If I got rid of this silver stuff and went in and did the Grecian, it would. I think I would look.
Grecian? What the hell is
I don't
that?
know. It's like a dye. It's a.
How about you just say hair dye?
Okay, well, whatever. You never heard of that before.
No. What country is that from?
Here we go. Can we get through a live stream without you getting on my ass?
No. know.
Just like one viewer said, man, you really put up with that one. I couldn't imagine having to put up with her.
He loves putting up with me. He would rather put up with me than any other person. Let's just say that.
Any other person?
I sound like I'm like the worst of the worst, but I'm really not.
Sir lists a lot. Johnny number 5 is alive. Good day. We'll be listening while doing the main job. We'll get it done. Because
You can do it!
You can do it.
Duncan says, lost a good Canadian buyer recently. I can really feel the slower sales. The guy was bidding and buying it now knows daily. Duncan,
Buy it now's daily.
I know you are fluent in the English language.
He must be trying to
help me out, man. Throw me a bone.
He's trying to eat his KFC and type at the same time, and it's not working out.
Give me a little help here. I really am trying. The guy was bidding and buy it now's daily. Now I got lots of cicadas, John's favorite word, crickets, and I need some KFC burgers. Okay, so let me tell you another story of what happened to me. So things don't always seem to fall into place for me, but this one turned out and it worked well. But it will give you maybe an idea as to why sometimes things happen. I had a buyer who bought a dehumidifier from me, and it's new in the box. They bought it, and he reached out to me and said, hey, I had meant to pay extra for the Allstate insurance, like the 1-year coverage or whatever. Is it too late? And I said to him, I think it is. I said, I'm not sure, but I think it is. If you need me to, I can cancel so you can do it again. So he replied back, sure. I said, well, send me a cancellation. He sent a cancellation. I approved it. And he put, in the cancellation request, he put ordered wrong item or whatever, ordered by mistake. So then he came back and said, it's saying now, it's giving me an error message. It won't let me order it again. It's saying that I have to, there's an error and I have to try back again. So I'll try back a little bit later. So I waited a couple hours. No problem. Let me know. And I checked in with him. I said, hey, any luck? He's like, it keeps doing that to me. It won't let me buy it. He's like, but I did buy a different item, not a dehumidifier, but I had to buy something else on eBay from somebody, and it worked just fine. And so I'm like, I have an idea. I'm going to create a new listing. So I did a sell similar. I changed the title, so it's technically a duplicate listing, but when you change the title, the words around in the title, the system doesn't look at it as a duplicate. So hack there, that's a hack. Now I created the listing, and I said, well, why am I promoting this one for? She's like, wow. She said wow to me when I told her. I said, I took the promotion off on the new listing. What's the point? I sent him the link to the new listing, said try this one, and I had given him a deal. I think I offered him like 10% off. Said I'll adjust the price to make it the same. He bought it. It worked just fine. And I adjusted it, and all is well. It's going out tomorrow. And so just understand that I didn't know this, but it could be that if you have a buyer who cancels an item from you, it might not allow them to go back in and buy that same item. Now, you know, how often is that going to happen? But that could be an issue if you are doing a cancellation for someone so they can buy the insurance and redo it. So you might have to redo a new listing. Duncan says, not good. I'm sending offers to and hardly getting any bites. Yes, we have some. Oh. And let's see, what do these people want from me?
I mean, it's been all day, literally.
See, here we go. So this guy sends me, I have this Black & Decker weed whacker, and this is what they do. I say, he says send off, it has a $67.49, that's with my markdown sale. I don't know if you guys can see it very good. And this is the kind of message, $65 free shipping.
It's all blurry.
Nobody can $65 free shipping. Take my word for it. Now, I don't know. This guy could be in you know, the middle of, you know, Doral, Florida, for all I know, and it's going to cost me every bit of that $65.
In Vermont or something.
So my reply here is, where are you located? What is your zip? Because if it's in Colorado, I would consider doing that. But I need to find out what that's going to cost me for shipping.
You have to be very careful because remember we don't have discounts on. FedEx.
Uh-oh. This is the segment of the video where our mailman comes to the door. And we have a stack of packages. We actually had a pretty good weekend in sales. I will show it to you right here. Here we go. And as you guys can see, we had Friday was 638, pretty strong. 260 on Saturday, 135 on Sunday. So $1,000 weekend, but boom, today we're at 615. And then this guy wants to tell me he's on the moon. He's in Chicago. So I will have to see. And I got another sale. So, I mean, I'm getting sales like crazy. I'm at 650 now after that sale. And then pending this other sale, this guy wants to give me $65. I will have to get back to him. That's the thing about doing these lives in real time. It's quite difficult to get to buyers when you're getting blown up here. But it's a good problem to have. That's for sure. Let's see. Duncan loves his KFC burgers. Derek is waiting for some crispy tacos with rice. That's awesome. We have Jovial. This is good for you, John. Glad it worked out for you. Time to take them down. I wonder how many chargebacks a credit card company will allow before they cut them off. I haven't won anything yet. I'm going to fight through the eBay system, but I'd say my odds are at about 50-50 at this point. I'm going to take the time to write up a document to it. I think I'm going to do that. I don't think 1,000 letters or characters are enough to really get through what I want to point. Some things I'm going to bulletize it so it's boom, 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 boom. If you look at the timeline, there's no way that this is the same item. So it's my job to be a defense attorney, I guess, or a prosecutor, however you want to look at it. And I need to prove my case. This is my chance. If you go in to that form, upload one photo without much explanation, you're probably not going to win the case. And it feels to me like the burden of proof is more so on the seller than it is the buyer. Because the buyer is not going to put that strong of a case together. They're going to put whatever they got to say. They may put a photo of something in there, maybe copied from my listing, saying this is what we had. This is brand new. I don't know what he's talking about. So the onus is on me. The onus is on, what is this guy doing here? No battery and need charger. Well, no crap. That's why you're getting the price the way it is. So this weed whacker is for a cordless one. It doesn't have a battery or charger. But yes, hold on real quick. Yes, period. This is being sold without the battery and charger as mentioned in the listing. Of course, I don't speak right. As mentioned in the listing, period. See, it doesn't dictate right. That is why the price is currently $67, period. I will take a look at it and see if I can work with you. Okay, that's it. All right, sorry guys. It's better for me to do dictation that way than to try to type it out. Especially when she's not here to talk to you while this is going on. Kevin says, good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Nice to see you, Kevin. Hope you had a great weekend. We had as good of a weekend as we were going to get. So all is well this weekend. Callie Debs says, hello, John, Jen, and chat. Sales have been good so far. I hope they keep on coming. That's awesome. So let's wipe out the summer slowdown. I don't think kill was the right word. Let's put this myth to bed that there's a summer slowdown. Maybe there is for some, but if we stay on top of what we need to do, then we can totally make money during the summer. And I wanted to show you how are we doing. This is a segment of the show where we show you how we're doing. We're at 63,393 for the year. This is from January 1st to June 23rd. We're up almost 2% over last year's numbers, so we're kind of right on par. We had a good summer last year, so it's going to really determine. I think what's going to be determining if we stay on this pace is if we also can really do well this summer. We are down 10.7% in the number of items that we've sold, but we are up 14.1%. We're holding steady at $76. Oh, sorry. We're holding steady at $76.56 for average sale price. So, kind of just cruising along, and so we'll see how we end up as we get through the summer. Let's see. Joe says, "Howdy, y'all. Nice to see you, Joe Samard." What happened?
Nothing.
Keith says, "My sales been good today and been steady for the week. Not great, but that's on me. Has not been doing a lot of listing while dealing with a lot of other things."
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
I can understand.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about my theory? The theory that I talked about, but it seems to be something to it, because on the secondary account, we have those patches. Now, we've sold 3 lots already. I think we sold one for $45. We sold a couple other for $10. There's, the lots are only like 4 to 6 patches. Oh, I got a message I need to read here. But take a look at this. Oops, I'll get rid of the comment. Take a look at that. Now, if we're focusing on not the message I need to read, but I put up I think it was I think Monday I scheduled the drafts, and I scheduled the auctions to start on Tuesday. And so some of them went from Tuesday to Saturday, but I also staggered them because I have about 7 or 8 different lots. So I have a couple that I started for, I think I started, did I start them yesterday for 7 days to end next week? Because I really think there's something to running an auction in addition to, you have a return request?
Yes.
What is it? So the things are happening today. I don't know. I mean, is this
This is the same one.
or is it a different? I sold 2 of them.
Oh.
See, these people. Okay, well we'll go there in a second. So you see here, no sales virtually until I started running these auctions, and then all of a sudden, I mean, I've had $200 days back to back, some $100 days. Heck, a $100 day would have been a great day. I got a couple $200 days back to back. Today we're at 39. Nothing great.
Says doesn't fit.
Of course it doesn't fit. You know why?
Because he bought it for the wrong model.
So these people bought one of these. I don't think you're gonna see
Nobody
it.
can see that.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay. Well, then let me go to it. I'm in it. So
You're there.
I'm in it. Yeah. So I'll go to it real quick. Return approved. So this is what's being returned. You guys can see that. It's a cleaning head module for a Roomba vacuum. Now, it's from an i5 system that was manufactured like last August, September. They changed the model. All the Roombas have been changed. So as of like, I think it was August of last year, to where the parts are different. So they're probably trying to buy this part for an older unit. I need to get in there and make sure that that's in the listing. I think it is, but I'm not sure. So returns are going to happen. What did they say? What was the reason why they put?
Doesn't fit.
Oh, that's good. Doesn't fit is legit. It means that I don't have to pay for the shipping. Silver Hair Stacker says, "Howdy. Nice to see you, Todd."
Howdy.
And Derek W. Pat says, "1 sale so far today, but normally I don't get any sales on Monday. They usually start coming in overnight or Tuesday, so I'm not complaining."
Well, hey.
So what I want to do, and I guess I can just stick to a thought. What I want to do back here on this account, if I can just get a string of $200 days, heck, just say $100. If I can average $100 a day on this account, that's an extra $3,000 in sales, running at about a 48%, 45% margin. That's paying for some bills, guys, and that's kind of how you got to look at it. I think that's why most of us do this, at least. So let's get caught up with some of your comments. I'm really trying today here. Let's see. Jenny's even with us. Can you imagine that? She's with us today. Henri Squaw says, "Hi, John and Jen and FA chat. Good thing I have that alarm set so I didn't miss it." Yes. You know, we've gone past the idea of using or relying on eBay's notification system. Yes, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed.
eBay's notifications?
Or YouTube's notification system. But go into your phone And on Mondays and Fridays, set an alarm for this show. Depending on where you're at.
You don't have to do that.
I think you should. If you're a real fan of FAE, you will have it in your phone. And that way, you'll never miss an episode. Todd says, banger days of sales are here. Let's keep it rolling. Yes.
Yeah.
We would have sound effects, but Jenna's not on it. Thrift Gorilla says, hello, John. You can Jenna and John. Hope all is well. Nice to see you, Thrift Gorilla. Haven't seen you in a while.
I know. Welcome back.
Scott N is with us. Nice to see you. And Susan Phelps says, hey, FA family, hope everyone has some sales.
Yeah.
Now let's hope everyone has great sales,
Yes.
not just some. Rad Relics is with us. John, nice to see you.
I got another sale.
Retro Going Gone says, good evening, John and Jenna. Yes, good evening to you.
Oh, we finally sold that jersey?
Oh, we sold a Wayne Cherbet jersey. Corbett. How do you say it? Corbett or Cherbet? Sports?
Cherbet?
Is it Corbett? He's like a...
Crebet. It's
He was in the league 20 years ago.
Rebet.
Yeah, Wayne Corbett.
Crebet. It's not Corbett.
You can Corbett. Hold on, let me go to it here. So that's it right there. We just sold that. What do we get for this thing? $26.99. So there you go. There you go. That's a sale. Plus shipping, $33.98 is in total. So after eBay fees and everything, we'll probably get about $24 because it's not going to cost a whole lot to ship it. And we have Gail Carlson with us. Nice to see you, Gail. Flipping from the trailer says, good evening, everyone.
Hello, flipping from the trailer. I
And
love their sticker.
Anthony, Dragon Master Fine, says, holy smokes.
Holy smokes.
I have a return for that same reason. It was a 3x2 little coin purse with a Honda logo. Huh. Scott says, I've actually had more scammers issue buyer's remorse returns than trying to flip the shipping on me. You wonder, though, why does it make their case more believable that, heck, if I was trying to scam them, wouldn't I just say it was an INAD? I don't know. Interesting. Anthony says, but eBay didn't make them return it. I was just out the sale because it's only $12.95 free shipping. Yeah. We got Basket Noodle. Puts up golfers. Puts up golfers. Puts up golfers? Thrift Gorilla says, how generous of them to leave their DNA. Yes.
Yeah, I was pretty grossed out.
Wolfman says, howdy, everyone. Nice to see you.
Howdy, howdy.
And Basket Noodle says, DNA evidence says it wasn't Snake Puskin. And I know it's supposed to be Puskin, but I put Puskin.
I know.
It's the way it is. Sorry. Keith says, clearly eBay could tell it was a swap out.
Yeah, I mean, you could clearly tell.
Will the banks be able to know that,
Yeah.
though? I mean, how many of these cases do you think the banks get on these? I'm sure it's not their first rodeo either. Craig Winan says, hello, everyone. Nice to see you.
Hello, Craig.
Thrift Gorilla says that commenter was probably the person who returned it. They were probably pissed, like, how dare he call out my cats that I throw in my refrigerator? Maybe that's how he cleans his refrigerator. You know, just let the cats roam in take the stuff out, let the cats roam and lick whatever on the refrigerator.
Come on.
It's clean.
No.
You can put the stuff back in.
No, the hair was stuck.
Yeah, it will be stuck.
In the glass.
Yeah. How does it happen though? Are you missing a door?
You have no idea because you don't have a cat. My mom has Himalayans that have unruly hair. She has 3 of them. And there's hair everywhere. I mean, literally everywhere.
Nope.
So I'm not shocked. If you have a cat, you're probably going to have hair in spots you wouldn't expect it. I mean, but in between the glass and the plastic, that's the problem.
Susan says to return their own item is a bad mojo. Karma back to them, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Civic Minim, come back and talk to us. I don't know.
did.
You retracted your message again.
Oh,
yeah.
did it again.
Twice. You retracted it twice. We want to know what you got to say. Thrift Gorilla says maybe their AC broke and they were all trying to live in the fridge.
No.
Keith says, oh shoot, shall I remove the cat from the fridge then? Yeah, it's a good idea. Baskindle says, Snake says it wasn't a cat. It must have been a human because cats don't have thumbs.
Actually, some do.
Yes, he said if they did, they'd be feeding humans. Casey New York says, great news. Glad eBay found in your favor. Well, eBay did. So at this point, I'm just hoping that if eBay can see it in my favor, then maybe the bank can as well. Coppercat says, hello, John, Jenna, and family. Thrift Gorilla says, you can contact eBay and they generally will refund the $20 fee if you lose. Yes. Hold on.
Hello?
Hold on. What's wrong? What are you helloing for?
Because it's dead air.
There is dead air.
You
I said,
were-
hold on. I got to do this. I keep dealing with this message from this guy. He wants to know if I'll do 65 free shipping to Chicago. And I guess we got to return, too. You didn't tell me that. Basket Noodle. People can file chargebacks over and over through their bank. It's a fact. Don't believe me. Just ask me. I'm not going to ask you because I believe you. Casey New York says, you have one shot with the seller dispute, so make sure you provide everything. Yes, which is why I'm not going to wing it on a live stream, but I just want to show you the process. As soon as we're done here, I'm gonna spend a little time. Thrift Gorilla says their banking institution will also log this. Habitual chargeback people will not be allowed to open chargebacks or will be put on a list. Yeah. Civic Minimum says, Chat GPT is worth it. Yes, I think it's worth. If you can find a way to integrate it into your business model, then certainly, utilize it. Thrift Gorilla says, I would honestly open an IC3 Gov report so at least it's in the system. There's things in my life that I found that were promising that end up being just not worth my time. And filing an IC3.gov report is one of those things that's not worth your time. It doesn't do anything. In fact, you file an IC3.gov report, it means nothing to the reps at eBay anymore. It used to, but the times that I filed the report, you don't even get anything. You don't get nothing you don't get a police report or anything like that. You get nothing. You have nothing to give eBay, and it maybe they'll use their powers that they used to have. Some of the times, a few of the times, they'd actually go in and say, okay, we're just going to go ahead and give you a refund. Of course, they refund the buyer, and they eat it. But they stopped doing that. Let's see. Underscore says, I'm curious as to why it was not eligible for eBay's money back guarantee for the buyer, because it looks like they fraudulently sent me back their old one. That's probably why. You can't. You break the terms and conditions if you defraud the system. Let's see. Basket says you can supplement like before you told me when the sput. Not right. I ate all the costs before me. Before you told me when dispute. Okay. I can't. Chat GPT. I don't really have I don't care which way you do it. Chat GPT. You want to use Gemini. You want to use Grok. They're all good. Thrift Gorilla says, I'd imagine that's why it looks like that account isn't registered anymore on eBay. Looks like eBay may have banned them. I didn't look. Awesome. I'm not in that account to go and look, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Timeless Vintage, and I actually will make that a point. If that's the case, I will make that a point to put in my dispute. eBay even saw this for what it was and banned them, or at least suspended their account because of it. Good morning, everyone. J&J, says Bear. Nice to see you.
Hello,
and
Bear.
Christopher Nutter's with us as well.
Christopher.
Big Dre says, the last switcheroo I got was in my niche store, but the product returned was worth $100 more than one they bought. Turned out the buyer returned the wrong items to me and the other seller.
Oh, boy.
Wow. And you kept the item and eBay refunded both of you. Okay. Basket Noodle says, absolutely defend it. Some toadstools are chronic chargeback lizards and may lose based right on that from the card process. Really? Seriously. We had somebody, and I know Scott's watching, but I won't say where, but Scott's local. He knows where I buy. He knows how I buy, and we talk about it all the time. But at one of the places that we go to, somebody ran up like $100,000, maybe more than that, $100,000 worth of purchases from this place, and they filed a chargeback saying they didn't recognize transaction.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you never told me.
Yeah,
that.
Scott's gonna be mad at me for mentioning it, but I didn't say from where. But it happens. It happens. Time to Sell Collectibles says, good evening, FA Monday Live. Missed beginning out, will rewatch. Yes. I think it's worth watching the beginning. Honor Squall says, I would start with the buyer did not return the same item they were sold. Yep. And we've got Primo and Spam. Nice to see you.
Hello, Spam.
And Baskin says, chargebacks are mitigated by the card processor's risk assessment team. Look, I use multiple syllables. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And I think it's the first comment that didn't
Woo.
right over my head. Civic Minim says, I'm dealing with a $400 chargeback on slab through Shopify.
Ooh.
They say not delivered when I have a tracking with signature. I mean, how can they
Oh.
how can they win that case?
Yeah.
So interesting. Mike says, I'm sure I'm not the only one who would like to see you complete the dispute form. But I think I'd rather do it after the fact, only because, and maybe I can, I don't know, maybe I'll record it.
It's probably better because he can't really think straight when he's being pressured.
Well, I can think straight. I just don't want to be distracted and then hit the submit
That's
button
what I'm
and go,
saying,
oh
is-
man,
yeah.
I should have said this, or I should have mentioned that. Basket Noodle says, now with the photos, I'd send 2 of what you sent and then 3 of what they sent you. Clearly not the same bugger.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I have a deadline. They give you usually a few days. We do plan on having the members only live on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, 6 Eastern. So, I don't know. Maybe that's an exercise I can do on the members only live. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't do it on any format. Just do it. Take my time.
Just do it when you're not distracted.
Thrift Gorilla. And then Dragon Master Finds Anthony says, I have more of a problem that we can't doing any deductions on a time waster like returns despite mentioning of a flaw in title description and photos taken of said issue. Let's see. Anthony also says I should be allowed to charge a restock fee for wasting my time. They did away from that. I know there's some sellers. I've seen listings where people say, yeah, 15% restocking fee on all returns. And I'm like, how the hell are you going to pull that off before you get that tool taken away from you? Yeah. Troy says, hello again. Getting some listing done today. Only had 4 sales over the weekend and mostly cheap. Slow down or lack of listing. I shall find out soon. So I really do feel like our buyers are distracted right now. The weather is better than it has been. Of course, for some it's a heat wave, but this is generally the time of year where people go to the lake, they go to the river, they go to the beach, they go to the mountains, they do things.
But guess who's not doing any of those things?
That's right, and that's why our sales don't slow down, because we are focused during these times. Time to Sell Collectibles. First 100-degree day in Maryland. Glad I cut my grass yesterday. It was only 98, way too hot for the northeast coast. Plus the humidity.
Yeah,
That's
you guys
not
got
fun.
humidity, and I wouldn't want that.
I was watching some. I follow baseball. I mean, who would have guessed, right?
No way.
And there's some players in, I think, Chicago that had to like take a knee, and they're like, okay, it was too hot. So, yeah, that's crazy. Big Dre says, I just got back from the gym. That's about 10 times this month. Got to keep in shape.
Nice.
Good
job.
It's about 10 times more than I've gone. So
yeah,
there you go.
is way more.
If that's
than we
motivation for you, then hey, there you go.
Yeah.
John says, why are divorces so expensive? Because they're worth it. Ha ha. Sherman says, wow, I shipped a die-cast car Saturday to West Virginia, June 21st from New Jersey, and buyer got it the 23rd today. How is that it seems impossible? No, not really. You just got lucky.
West Virginia to New Jersey. That's not a long road.
Baskin says, it's where are you located, big boy? No. I told them when I get home, because I don't want them knowing I'm doing a live stream on reselling. I said when I get back, I'll look into it for you. Thrift Gorilla says, I've been getting very low offers too as of late, selling something for $29.99 and they want it for $7.50.
Oh my gosh.
So
tell them to pound sand.
So for me, I'm not all that interested in taking a lot less for an item that I recently listed. Now, maybe if I've been sitting on this for a while, but I know that I listed this item only a couple weeks ago. And this is the season. People are looking for tools. They can, they can go out and do their lawn, whack their weeds. And for me, I don't have a whole lot more. Last year I was getting them like every week. I don't get a whole lot of those. So I would rather, and I'm distracted because I'm trying to do two things at once. I would rather get as much as I can. If that means, hey man, this is the best that I'm going to do, then that's what it means. So I'm going to take a look at it and try to get back to him. Susan Phelps says, don't worry, Jenna. My husband calls me a biatch sometimes, which I wear like a coat of armor. You mess with a cougar, you're going to get scratched. LOL.
This is true.
Susan, you don't sound like one of those.
No, you don't.
But I said it pretty good.
But
like I had practice. I never call you that.
no, he'd be buried 6 feet under.
I don't call her names and I don't lie to her. Those are the two things I don't do.
Yeah.
Derek says, not bald
He's the
yet.
worst
Keep my hair
liar.
short. Otherwise, it turns into a big, beautiful, natural perm.
Ooh!
Like the dude on Air.
Some women would kill for that, Derek.
Like the dude on Air Supply, or the the Michael Landon hair.
Yes.
Mike Metco says, I do the same thing, John. Whenever I have to create a new listing for a buyer, for any reason, even if I'm making a combined listing, I cancel the promoted listing. Helps defray any discount I give. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why would you say, okay, eBay, I'll give you, that extra, I think it was 8.1% on that listing. No, on a $70 item, I'll keep the $6 in my pocket. Henri Squaw says, I'm with Duncan, very quiet sales-wise. Yeah, Bear says, you don't have any bites, change the lure. I think that's perfect. Perfect analogy. If you're out fishing, you see this has happened to me in my lifetime. I used to fish a lot when I was a kid. And you'd see other people catching fish, and you're like, man, this sucks. I'm not getting any fish. What are you going to keep fishing the same way? And while everyone else is getting bites and fish?
Well, kind of like when we went to New Mexico and you guys were using the wrong bait.
Well, that's different. You guys heard that story, right? I went to New Mexico, visited my buddy out in, not far from Los Cruces in Ruidoso. It's up in the mountains up there.
So pretty. Up
Yeah,
there.
and so we went. There's a lake that's right next to a casino, believe it or not. And we were like, okay, cool. We got our little fishing license thing. We went out there. My buddy had all the bait ready to go, and we get there at 6. We throw the line out, and we're sitting there just talking and having a good time. And like 2 hours later, a ranger comes up, and he's like, "You guys catch anything?" Not a thing. We haven't caught a thing. We're trying to get these catfish, but we haven't got anything. He's like, we don't have catfish in this lake, sir. So we had to go into the bait shop and buy some
It was
some
rather
different
funny.
bait and some lures. So yeah, that was funny. And then we started catching
4 grown-ass men, and they all look at each other like, what?
Tampa Bay Picker says, hi all, question. I received a return, but I had to pay over $10 at the post office because the buyer shipped the item in a priority box with a ground label.
Wow.
Yeah, that's horrible.
That's terrible. People are dumb.
The returns I don't like are the ones where, okay, you send them a perfectly good box and they ship it back in a totally different box, or they will double box the thing on their own with a box that's a lot bigger, and it's like, wow, I don't know if this is going to cost me more or not on the label. Tampa Bay Picker says, I did not see an option on eBay for a refund on the extra postage. Any help would be appreciated. Thanks.
Yeah, so he's asking what he should do.
So, now you're talking about on just a purchase someone made and you're trying to give them back the difference in shipping? You would just go...
No.
Well,
He had to pay for...
there's no option. There's nothing
no
you can
recourse
do. You have nothing to do there.
Yeah.
You're just out of luck.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the buyer can do something like that, and the carrier is going to charge eBay, and then eBay is going to pass that on to you. So, and you're considered the responsible party when it comes to that label. Now, on a remorse return, that should be passed on to the buyer. Dragon Master Finds says, I actually love when that happens, Mike. Happened on a $300 plush. Customer asked me to hold, so when I relisted it for her, I didn't add the promotion, extra money for me. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, eBay might think there's something wrong with that, but to me, if their system worked right in the first place, which is what we're paying them for, then we wouldn't have to go through the extra trouble to relist it. Mark Suddick says, hi all, please tell me what to do. 4 times this weekend, buyers order, and then 10 minutes later request to cancel. They claim found better price. Buyers shouldn't be allowed to do this, wasting my time.
Oh, it's something that gets under my skin to the core.
I'll tell you what I would do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I would not let it bother me, because I was thinking about this the other day. How many times is eBay showing an item to somebody else after they buy our item, and then they decide, wow, I can save $5 if I buy this one. Let me go and cancel, and I'll come back and buy this item. Okay? Happens a lot. Happens to everyone. But I wonder, how many sales do I get, am I benefiting from when someone buys an item and in their checkout, because I'm promoting, they see my item and they're like, oh, dude, I can get that one not only faster, but I can get it cheaper after shipping. Okay, let me buy that one and cancel this one. So we don't know. We just don't know as sellers how many times we're the beneficiary of that. So you just have to understand that it's going to happen against us. It's going to happen for us. We're going to know when it happens against us, which is kind of irritating. We don't know how many times that we're benefiting from it. So that's sort of the mind. So
another sale.
Change the mindset, and that could have been right there. They could have bought. It was a lot of. They didn't. There was a lot of 5 what?
Pouches.
Oh, okay. Well, that wasn't going to happen.
Civil defense.
Yeah, they weren't going to see another one like that. So that's a bad example. Christopher says, I sold 5 paper plates for $15 during the live. There you go.
Wait,
now,
what?
He sold 5 paper plates.
Paper plates for $15?
We get a whole thing of them for $18, $20 at Sam's.
Yeah, but that's like 500. We get 500.
That's not 5. It's 200. It's 200. I promise you. It's
more
2.
than that.
But, okay, so let's say there, Christopher, someone had bought the same 5 plates for $20. You could have benefited now from that sale. They canceled that one, and you got the sale.
Yeah.
Keith says there's no summer slowdown other than if you slow down. I do think there's an element to summer slowdown. Mm-hmm. I think that there's 2 sides of the reselling coin. There's the buyer, there's the seller. If you have buyer traffic, you do all the things you're supposed to do, you will benefit from that extra buying traffic, right? You have a slowdown in that buying traffic, then across the board, it can slow down sales. But if you are a seller who's also slowing down your activity because you're allowing summer to get in the way, then the folks who are, up in their game shouldn't see that big of a fall off. Just my theory, at least. Amazon Seller 99. There are definitely categories that do better and worse during the summertime. DVD sales fall about 30 to 40% from May through September. Our team sports clothing hats increase in summer. So you got to know your market. You got to be able to pivot, and you can look at things like again, not everyone has it. I'm going to hold eBay to the fire on that one. That's the one question I'm going to ask, is why do we not all have the listing quality? I think it's that good. The listing quality report should be something that all sellers should have. If you have a store, but I have 2 stores and only one of them have that report. So Amazon Seller says, oops, I think I just read that one. Derek says, okay, Tampa Bay, I'm looking at some sidebar convos. Glenn Cameron says, I tried a live online auction for sourcing, did okay, spent over $1,000, but what I didn't realize is there was a buyer's premium of 17.5%.
Eek.
Wow. Oh,
That's
well,
big.
live and learn. Good weekend of sales anyway. Wow. Hopefully you can make money on that.
17.5. That's
Wow.
really large.
That's not Whatnot. I think Whatnot is 11%. So where the heck, what online live auction is this?
Online auction.
Online live auction. Right?
Yeah.
Right? You're correct. I mean, if you're going to correct me,
I'm
be
not
right about it.
correcting you. I'm just saying it out loud.
Troy says, I have a store, but eBay tried to charge me $5 to run a 7-day auction. I did try to go on and do I tried to do a 3-day auction on one lot because I wanted to end on Sunday, and it said that it was going to charge me $1. I'm like, well, forget it. I'm not getting a whole lot for these anyway, so I just did the 5. But I did a 7-day. It didn't charge me $5. Very strange. because I made sure to look at the bottom. It says free insertion.
So I thought that we didn't have to pay for auctions.
You don't have to, but they will they'll charge you an extra amount if you decide that you want to do a 3. Because people want that quick flip, right? Let's just do it quick. Let's sell this lot quickly. And eBay knows that you want to get your money fast. So they're going to, just like they charge you, some places, not eBay, but some places will charge you money like Mercari to pull your money out. Susan Phelps says, what do you do with a buyer who says the item he bought is going to a broker in the USA and then shipping to Guatemala and was worried about the item being broken due to their USPS opens packages? Well, just say, hey, what I would say to the buyer is, look, I will wrap it as good as I can, pack it as good as I can, but, please know because you're shipping it, we can't control, you have no idea how that package is going to be handled outside the U.S., so, there's nothing that we can do.
Yeah, there's nothing, unless you plan on getting on that airplane and carrying the package yourself. There is absolutely nothing you can do.
And that's a priceless conversation to have because you have that information to show eBay that, hey, this shouldn't have been, this shouldn't have to, I shouldn't have to deal with the return on a broken item because this was done. Now, I would say you want to use eBay's international shipping program so that, you're going to avoid the need for a broker. I don't know why they would need a broker. They would just go through and buy the item. It should be available to them unless it's in a country that's not allowed. And then, it's going to cost them a little bit more, but they're paying more from the broker anyway. So what's strange to me is that you're dealing with the buyer and not the broker, because the broker is the one that would be buying the item from you and then shipping it out to whatever. Because a lot of times they'll have these websites. They'll have their own site. They're sort of drop shipping your item to somebody in another country. And it's strange to me that you're talking to the end buyer on that one. Derek says, I love your all chemistry together. Yes. And Duncan says, Jenna, I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
You can do it.
You can do it.
See, Keith says, I said it on my phone last week when John mentioned it. There you go. Don't have to worry about YouTube. Keith says, wow, those sounds are loud when you got your headphones on.
Sorry, Keith.
TikTok says, it takes all kinds. That's why I do not like cats.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason why we have non-shedding dogs.
Duncan says, maybe they keep the cats in the fridge to make cat burgers.
Ew.
Craig says it's worse than cat hairs. It's pubic hairs
from
having a robe open while rummaging for snacks. Well, these hairs, these were straight though. These weren't curly. They weren't curly.
Stop.
Well, but they could have had.
Stop.
They could have had Derek's hair, the Michael Landon fro, and
Enough.
The hair fell in when they were picking up their produce.
Enough, I said.
It's not enough.
Yes, that's. Craig,
She's abusing
over
me.
the line.
She's hitting me.
Over the line.
We're trying to make sense of it.
Jumped right into the gutter.
Maybe there's no cat involved. Maybe this guy's just losing his hair like crazy. And in that day, they actually had our item, and they spilled like some juice on the bottom. Their hair's falling out, and they decided it wasn't going to fit, and they sent it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to put that in the rebuttal.
So gross.
Samantha says, time now is 6:44 p.m. Hello, everyone. Just joining now.
Hello, Samantha.
I'll have to few the early part missed. How is everything going? Going great.
Yes.
Thank you. Susan says, I sold 2 this weekend, dual cassette player and an Asus motherboard. Yes.
Nice.
Yes, those Asus motherboards can be pretty good.
Oh, so
TikTok says, this is why scammers feel empowered. Yeah, they look, it was quick. It wasn't like days went by. Oh, jeez. No.
God.
I mean, what is this?
Person.
I need to hire somebody.
So retarded. And congratulations, Todd, on your $6 t-shirt sale.
So here's one where a buyer they bought one of these Rowenta irons, and I guess the iron, like on the very corner of the iron, it got like a ding somehow. I don't know why, because we had packed the thing really good. That's what they're saying. So I said, look.
Did they show you a picture? Because I want to see.
I think they did. Yeah, right here.
Let me see.
Oops, it's not. Hold on. right there. So it had a dent in the side.
This?
That's it. That wasn't there before. So yeah, everyone wants to see it now, I'm sure. Devon's made it. Nice to see you, Devon.
Devon, are you in Montana or Idaho?
Todd says, "Cha-ching, man, that $6 T-shirt was worth the thumbs up." There you go. So here's the thing. Here's what the buyer sent me, a picture of this iron, and it has a ding on the side.
That's
And
more
I'm
than
like,
a ding.
well,
That's a complete,
I said, she's like, "I'm disappointed. I really like this iron, but I don't think it's going to work for me." I said, "Okay, look." I think I told her.
Tell her to take a hammer and just...
No, I told her, I said, "If this is going to work for you, I'll give you like $30 back if you just want to keep it. Otherwise, send it back and we'll just do the return." And she's like, "Oh, let's see if I can use it if it doesn't snag." So finally, after a week, she gets a hold of me and tells me that she's going to keep it. So I'll just send her money. It's the way it goes sometimes. But and what am I going to do with an iron that has a ding in it? I had to pay for a return label. Now I got an iron that no one's going to want. So let's just be happy she wants to keep it. Big Dre says, "My pawn shop has $4,000 worth of prismatic evolution box sets. I'm thinking of selling some items to them to bring the price down enough for me to make a profit." Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can work with your pawn shop like that, and then that gives you a place to go to dump stuff if, you can't move it.
Usually pawn shops will negotiate.
But you'd think that they would know the value. Maybe they know somebody that would buy it. Yes, heat wave on the East Coast. But in the summer, look, this is weird. We're in the 90s right now in Vegas.
93 here.
It's wonderful for the summer.
Okay, let's not go that far.
Okay.
It could be worse.
In a month,
It's
in
not
a month
wonderful.
when we're at 115 to 120, I'm gonna tell you back in June, I told you how 93 was wonderful, and you looked at me like I was crazy. And
Yeah,
you're
'cause
gonna
it's
feel
not
like
wonderful.
93 is gonna be
It
wonderful.
feels like it's 110.
Thrift Gorilla says, "I had a chargeback last week. Generally, eBay doesn't require any information for buyer doesn't recognize charge, but this time I had to. Once proof submitted, it showed me that I'm covered." Message. Okay,
Oh.
so we'll see. You'd think, though, that eBay has already determined the buyer lost their protection, right? So that should, by default, allow me to win, even though the credit card company might say I don't. I mean, it's hard to understand why they would. Derek says, "On top of vacation, there's a lot of happening in the world also, and I'm sure that's distracting a ton of people." Mm-hmm. Oh, it is. This craziness that's happening overseas, regardless of how you feel about it, it certainly is a distraction, that's for sure. Let's see. Derek says, "I would come back with a $299.99 offer and see how they like it." I don't know. I think I missed that one.
On the pawn shop stuff.
Oh, okay. You need gifts and books, goods and books. Says, "Hey, you two. Hope you had a great weekend, and hello, FA fam. Hope you and your sales are good. Been working outside of eBay, but I finally am back to listing, trying to get in the groove again."
Nice.
Yeah. Right now, it's just like the same thing, status quo. I am working to create space in my garage, so I'm taking things that I did a lot of variation listings on our second account with parts, and I'm looking at some of these listings and I'm thinking maybe I need to just try to sell these parts individually instead of doing a variation listing, because when people are they're doing an eBay search, they see the main photo that I have, which is a picture of the item and as a whole with what it is, but they're scrolling through, they're looking for the part they need, and they're probably going past that. They're not looking into my listing. So I have a stack or a box full of parts from this robot lawnmower that I have listed currently. Actually, I've taken the listings down, and I'm just going to list the parts individually on their own listing. Even though it's going to grow the store a little bit, I don't care. I just removed 120 patches, individual listings, so that I don't want to balloon the store beyond 1,000 items, because then I have to up the store to the 10,000 item store, and I don't want to do that. on the second store. Keith says, when I really get lowball offers, I just block them, especially if they have zero feedback. So I don't necessarily know. Look, I have it $67.50, and they want me to do $65 free shipping. Now, I can't take an offer like that because it's automatically going to charge them for the shipping. So it sounds to me like they want it for the same price, and they want me to go in. I get a lot of messages when I'm on this live. I don't know what's going on, but they want me to pretty much give them $20 off is the way I look at it, because that's about what I think it's going to cost for that shipping label. So what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll say, look, I can split the difference with you if you're interested, but I know this thing will sell. I don't have to give a huge discount like that. Thrift Gorilla says they most definitely get put on the block list right after I deny it. A low ball. You know, but again, if sellers at a yard sale treated us that way, you know, we stepped into their yard, we're looking at stuff, and we're like, you know, how much is this lip gloss she needs to have while she's on the live? And they say, oh, that's $10. Will you take 2 for it?
No.
Get off my lawn. Get out of here. I don't think that would go very well. So no, I don't believe in doing that. See, what's the point? What's the point?
I have the worst chapped lips right now. It's not even funny.
It says, mess with the cougar, you get the claws and possibly some children that don't belong to you.
Exactly.
You don't call her names, you just think it.
Oh no, he doesn't even think it. I know what he's thinking at all times.
What am I thinking right now?
That I'm full of it.
No.
Here, you know what? You need some chapstick.
I just said biatch 3 times in my head. You didn't read my mind.
Please.
Samantha Hunter says, John, do you have any craft items in your stores? No, I don't.
We have scissors.
I mean, we had the needle thing that I believe Daisy said, hey, you still have that? And I'm like, yeah, we got the needle thingy, and had all the needles. I don't even know what the hell it is, but she seemed to think it was pretty good.
I wonder, I haven't seen her here yet, but I wonder if she got her package.
Pitco says, did anyone see what value-added resource put out about eBay giving time to buyers to change their minds?
Oh, no.
No, I did not. This is one of those days I really didn't need to go in and try to find things to talk about, but oh, here it is. This here? eBay tests 30-minute delay to allow buyers to cancel or make changes to orders.
Oh, hell no.
Heads up. Thumbs up to Liz Morton for putting this site together. She does great work. Go check out valueaddedresource.net. But on this site, eBay appears to be testing a feature that would allow buyers a 30-minute window after completing payment in which to cancel or update shipping and payment details on orders. The new functionality was recently noticed by a user who shared details of their experience in an eBay community post. I recently noticed that after I click pay on an eBay order, I now get a message saying, need to change your address or payment details? Update your order. This appears after I've already clicked the pay button, not before. Seems like eBay has given me one last chance to edit my shipping address or payment before finalizing the transaction. Is this a new feature? Has anyone else seen this behavior recently? Does it only happen under certain conditions? Unpaid items, managed payments. Well, everyone has managed payments. Specific sellers. Just trying to confirm if this part of a new checkout flow or rollout, if it's a test. And then the user subsequently followed up with screenshots of what they're seeing, clearly showing the existence of an update your order option, showing on both the order confirmation page and their purchase history. First image is when I place an order. See where it says update your order? Wow, look at that.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see, order info, time placed. Interesting. Something else to note, I can also cancel my order within the 30-minute time frame without the seller's permission. All purchases are buy now listings. The button is detrimental because the seller does not see the order on their end until 30 minutes has passed. Wow. Very interesting. I haven't seen it. And this one says on Amazon they hold all orders for 30 minutes. So it could be that eBay, in their never-ending attempt to become Amazon, sees that Amazon does this, and maybe they're adding it to their flow. What do you think of that, guys? What do you think of that? I don't know what to think of that. I mean, look, you don't know until you know, and it isn't like, when you get the sale, it's like, yeah, I knew that sale was coming. It's just going to be a sale that's going to pop up 30 minutes later. I guess if that cuts down the number of change my minds, then I guess. Derek W. Pat says, it has happened to me a few times. I hate how eBay shows the same items up for sale on my listings when I'm paying for a store.
Yes.
Yep. Marvelous Cards, Trading Card Bunker and Collectibles says, I've had a few buyers trying to cancel lately. From my understanding, if you have the order packed and ready to ship and buyer tries to cancel it, you don't have to. Just print the label and ship it. Well, you don't have to at all. They can contact you as soon as they pay for it, and you're not even ready to ship it till tomorrow. You don't have to accept the cancellation. You could technically wait till tomorrow, deny the cancellation, because eBay is going to want you to put the tracking number in because they think that's why you're not. But eBay, in the policy, they don't say, well, if you haven't shipped it yet, you must accept the cancellation. All it's saying is, if you're not canceling it, please provide us with a tracking number so we can give it to the buyer and let them know the package is on its way. And of course, the buyer can be pissed off. They probably will. Now, I've heard other sellers say that they ship it anyway. They, deny the cancellation, upload the tracking, and they don't get a lot of returns. So, I mean, in theory, you'd think that they would, but maybe they figure, maybe the buyer's waiting for you to accept the cancellation before they buy that other item. And the fact is that it never happens, so they never buy that other item. I don't know. You Want You Need says, sometimes buyers can do these quick cancels just to get automated positive feedback. I don't use it anymore. I leave positive feedback preferably after I return from the post office. That would be an interesting point, that maybe you have people that are just trying to build up feedback. Let's see. TikTok. I sell I season just like the stores. Oh, sell in season like in the stores. Marvelous Card says, while there can be exceptions when an order can be canceled, I rarely cancel an order when someone says bought by mistake with no real reason. I just pack it up and ship it and give them the tracking number. There you go. I mean, it does pay, I guess, to be fast on the shipment. If you get a sale, how many of you guys, I'm curious, how many of you guys, you get a sale and you drop everything? Maybe you're in the middle of a listing or something, you get a sale. It's like, okay, I'm going to go ship it right now. So that way, if you do get a cancellation request, sorry, I already shipped it. How many of you do that? Sherman says, eBay shouldn't be able to promote other sellers' same items directly in your listing.
Yeah, it is so obnoxious.
I agree, but you open up one of your listings right now in the app and then scroll down. You'll see other people's listings in there. Rad Relics John says, high bid auctions, the auction company can set the buyer premium at whatever they like. The auction company can also see you.
I
your
got
proxy
another
bid.
sale.
All right, and that is a fan part.
It's
right?
a fan part.
All right, but the auction company can also see your proxy bid. So never put in a huge bid, or they will run you up. I always wondered about that. Companies like that, you bid a certain amount. And if they have some shill employee in the back room saying, yeah, it's only at $5, but this guy wants to pay 20, so if we get 18 out of him, he'll never know. I don't know. Thrift Gorilla says, every time a buyer wanted to cancel an order, I've denied them in 2025 and shipped them. Not a single issue, and any feedback got removed automatically if it was a neutral or negative. Interesting. Look, I don't... Look, I try to minimize my negatives. I don't want 1,000 negatives. I have my share of negatives. In 2025...
He said knock on wood, though.
In 2025, if you're a seller that goes around saying, I have 100% feedback, don't live on that hill, because there's going to be a buyer that's going to come along, and it's probably not even going to be warranted, and you're going to get hit with a negative, and you go try to fight it, and eBay's going to deny it, saying, oh, the buyer's allowed to voice their opinion. And then you're gonna feel low about it. You're gonna feel bad in some way about it. The only thing that I look at that matters to me is, did I make enough sales this week? Did I make enough money this week? And yes, you could say it all adds up. The more negatives you have, it can hurt your account. I agree with that. Also, there are buyers out there who do look at that stuff. Believe it or not, they do read your listings too. But you follow up with a professional reply. Yes, you do try to fight it, every one of them, to get removed through the tool. Don't bother calling because they're going to fill out the same tool that you're filling out. And leave it at that. I've seen so many accounts that are horrible with negative feedback that are making a lot of money. And to me, I think it's just something that we overrate. It's overrated. Negative feedback or any feedback is overrated. I think the whole feedback system is just whacked. Knock on wood, yes. And Canada's good again. The Postal Works took a deal, so we are good for 3 years. There you go.
Nice.
Rad Relic says, I dated a girl in high school and she loved cats. She had several of them. We didn't make it, but I found out later that when her cats died, she would have them freeze-dried and kept in her freezer.
You're lying, John. You are lying.
John, that has got to be a lie, says Todd.
Yes.
I could see them doing something like taxidermy, right? Which is weird. But Devon says,
not a cat.
I am... Look, the Sparkles is over here. This is Sparkles. Just looks just the way I remember her. I can see people doing that. Like up on a little pedestal, like, in action.
Oh, no. No.
I don't know.
I mean, believe me, I don't care about taxidermy. Like, if you want to do like a cow or a
cow?
Not a cow,
So I'm eating my hamburger, I can say this.
What are they? A deer or something like that. Like that doesn't bother me. But you start putting up your personal animals, then I have a problem.
Why can't you do taxidermy on your animals?
No,
you know what?
Just freaky.
Come to think of it, I think that we should have did that with Peanut.
No.
Our Cocker Spaniel that we had put down. I say that in jest, but man, I miss that dog.
I know.
So... Todd says, Devon, I'm so jealous. I want to be in Montana.
So do I. I want to be either in Idaho or Vermont. I want to be anywhere but here.
Sir Listalot says, 33 dropped off USPS FedEx on my way in. It was overall average. There you go.
Nice.
Love it. We're trying to up our game. Those of you who know my main store, we are at...
He said, swear to the Lord.
We're at 300.
There's no way.
And we were at 250 not too long ago. So we're trying to build this up. We're at 26,154 in value in the store. That's where we're at right now. Rad Rolex says, Derek, yes, I'm thankful as I married a bitter lady and I don't have to worry about ending up in a freezer when I die. Man, that's weird. What do you do with that, though? I mean, what's the point?
I mean, I don't mind, like, if you're gone hunting and you've shot a deer or something like that, that's fine. But not your personal animals. I just find that a little
never in the
creepy.
freezer. Never in the freezer, but taxidermy I can see.
Yes.
Glenn, oh, you agree with me now. Glenn says it was
but not your animals.
Glenn says it was a local auction house, K Auctions, a big local YouTuber was selling his collection, but no mention of premiums anywhere. I should still do okay, add some good stuff, but it was a shocker, yeah. Always know the rules when you're playing the game.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about premiums until...
Jobio did a, learned the hard way on high bid, did a proxy on 5 items. All 5 items went from $4 to $5 bid to $1 over my max bid of $30 within minutes. Lesson learned, never again.
Yeah.
But, okay, so if you're the high bidder at 30 and they bump you up to 31, what do they gain because they don't have a real person buying it? Is there a chance that it is an actual legitimate bidder? I think some of the sites will show you, like a bid history on those. Hustle Man says, hello everyone. Nice to see you, Hustle Man.
Hello.
Jonathan, I believe, right? If I remember correctly. Craig Winan says, going to see 28 years later tomorrow. It's about eBay buyers trying to do returns. I want to see that movie.
What is it? It's a movie?
Yes, we saw 28 days later. No, we saw 28 hours later. I don't think we saw 28 days later, but 28 years later I want to see.
I have never heard about whatever you're talking about.
I sold that
you got a sale.
Yeah. I'm on pace for about $800 today. That's good. Let's go to see that movie now.
I don't know if I
It's
don't
a-
want to watch a movie about eBay.
It's a zombie movie. It's not eBay. 28 years later is not about eBay buyers trying to do returns. It's talking about zombies. Whew, went over your head.
I'm so
Tommy Z
confused.
said, "It's a think of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It's just like that. But 28 years later."
Okay.
Tommy Z says, "Thank you for the live. My favorite reselling couple." Well, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Darn it. Nice to see you, Tommy. We were looking at your comment until this mouse moved. Okay, Keith says it was up as high as 30 cents here, or Celsius here,
Cents.
last
I
week.
can't.
Look, man, we don't deal with Celsius. We deal with Fahrenheit. I think that's like 30 Celsius is like 80, 85. Is that Fahrenheit? But it's a little different kind of heat, very humid. Troy says, I refunded a person who said soles fell off kids' cleats after 2 uses, 3 days after they got. Then I looked and found out they have a ton of high-end clothes list, dishonored reseller scamming me. So,
Wow.
so what do they send you back?
Yeah. That's just wrong. People are wrong.
Film from the trailer says, sometimes I wish you could offer overlisted price just to piss people off.
Right.
Hustleman, was that ding on the iron visible on the original photo? No, it wasn't. So you could say that maybe it's a swap out. Maybe they dropped theirs, they broke theirs, and they bought mine, and now they're trying to pass theirs off as mine. But you can tell through the conversation with the buyer. This is a nice lady. She didn't have a lot of information about how the processes worked and all that. So I'm going to give certain people the benefit of the doubt. I do look at their account. I look and see, are they nasty to sellers? They look like Christmas on their feedback left for sellers. There's nothing like this with this person. So sometimes you have to just trust people. But when you see a swap out happen right in front of your eyes, trust your instincts.
He said, yes, that is Jonathan.
Thrift Gorilla says you might want to take a photo with all the parts laid out nicely as the main photo if you do a variation listing. I do that. Mm-hmm. I have, the way I do it is this. I'll take a photo of the main unit before I break it down. And then I will put it in Canva, white background removal. I'll put like iRobot Roomba and the model number, and underneath put parts. That's the main photo. The second main photo is all the parts laid out with the background removed and me going A, B, C, D, whatever in Canva. So that now part A is a drop down for that. And then I have a separate photo for each item as well. Multiple photos for each item so they can see what all the parts are. I've got a lot of them in the second. I've got like 15 to 20 of those listings in the secondary account. They do okay. We just sold a fan part with one of those. Mm-hmm. But I wonder though, sometimes some parts I think do better when they have their own listing. So people visually can see, oh, that's the thing that I need. They can see it right on the front. But yeah, I have 300 active listings, so I'm building up my account right now. So I'm pretty happy about that. Keith says, I found that multi-listing parts wasn't selling. I took it down and listed parts separately, and they started selling. Mm-hmm. You just got to kind of do, a little bit here, a little bit there. I have not found one of these multi-quantity listings, variation listings, that have had almost all the items sell. Most of them, in many cases, but there's some obscure parts that, there's not even, people don't even know what it is. They're looking at it and they can't tell it's their part. But if you had an actual dedicated listing for that part with what it is in the title, I think that it has a better chance to sell. Thrift Gorilla says, that look Jenna gave you might wake up with that chapstick on, John. Marvelous Card says, I tend to just let a lowball offer expire because it can entice other watchers to send offers or buy it now. Let the lowballer work for you and sweat and wonder why you're ignoring the offer. Yeah, there's something about sending offers and dealing with the negotiation with the buyer that does, I believe, give you a boost. There's no rule book, there's no manual for eBay, so we kind of learn what we've seen. Like, okay, I send out offers for certain items that I've had sitting in my store, and someone buys it at full ask. How does that happen? These auctions, put up auctions, and all my other items start to sell. How does that happen? Big Dre says, sometimes I'll give a full refund on a return that is under $50 and it isn't something I want to deal with, but usually the buyer will return the item at their own cost. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Samantha says, if anybody is going to one of those meetings coming, let them know that creating wishy-washy buyers isn't cool. Make the sale or get off my line. So yeah, I'm going to eBay Open, and I've got to get with Mike. I don't know if Mike's still watching, but I think we need to do a Flippin' Ain't Easy meetup. It's like a little over a month away.
August?
Less than 2 months away.
No,
little over a month
no,
away.
no,
August 12th to 14th. What? No.
We've got some scheduling conflicts
Well, I'm going to eBay Open, so I don't know what you're talking about. 12th to 14th. I don't know. You got to figure that out. I already paid for my tickets. I've paid, so I'm not doing anything else.
No, I understand, but that weekend is something important.
Okay, so Jovial says, wait in the absolute hell. What in the absolute hell is going on with respond to offers and offers on eBay right this minute? I don't know. What is going on with it? Thrift Gorilla says, then eBay should remove the ability to cancel an order across the board after the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should work both ways. But then again, eBay is more concerned with the buyer experience than the seller experience. Marvelous Card says, when I make a really good sale profit, I don't want to risk losing. I just create the shipping label as fast as possible. That way you can avoid cancellation requests or potential buyer's remorse issues. And then the buyer will probably message you saying, hey, I just bought it. There's no way you already shipped it, blah, blah, blah. How many of those conversations do you have? You Want You Need says, typically when I see this adjustment, it's for the address. It's too many letters. I think over 30 characters. I get this a lot when sending to Quebec if eBay doesn't recognize the address. Yeah, you'll have to sometimes manipulate it a little bit.
That happens sometimes. I have to change it and put it on address to line.
Samantha says, we're not in the business of maybe or hokey pokey buyers.
Yeah. Well, sadly, they're there.
I mean, if it's going to cut down on the number of cancellations due to change my mind, then maybe. Julie Powell says, I had a scammer return an empty envelope. Ooh. eBay awards returned claim in my favor. Customer files a chargeback with their bank and wins. Nothing out of my pocket, but still ridiculous. Yeah. So maybe that's what's going to happen. Maybe because eBay found the case in my favor, then it's just a formality. They just need help fighting the case. Devon says, I do like Posh 3 days, and then you're done with your sales. Yeah, that return window shouldn't be more than a week. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. Derek Pat says, I don't use auto feedback. I leave feedback when I check my sold to see when the item has arrived. I leave feedback then. It helps me keep track of tracking for the customer. But I just one thing I don't want to deal with. So I have it as auto feedback. Mm-hmm. I want the buyer to feel like, hey, you know, this is an up and up seller. I guess you can say the transaction technically isn't over until they get it, and then they could get stupid nasty with you, and now you have no way of reporting that. But I just look at it as just another task that I'm happy is automated. Glenn says, is it hard to make a listing with a drop-down bar with multiple items in the same niche? I have 52 vintage U.S. state flags. This would be a good time to do this. Use this feature. Never have. I did a video on that, on the variation listings, and it's not the easiest thing to do, but once you kind of get the hang of it, it's easy. It becomes easy, just like anything else. But yeah, you would then set it up to use variations, and then you'd put flag type as the main, and then you'd put the secondary would be like USA flag, you know, like Canadian flag. You know, just have a list of flags there, and then link it to having photos for each flag. But go into my videos, and you should be able to see it somewhere. I think you do a search and put variation. You Want You Need says, I handle the shipping label first no matter where I am, as it fits my same-day policy, and it prevents any quick cancels. Also, I don't use automated feedback, as buyers can cancel after they get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Devon has a pet deer at the cabin.
A pet deer? Oh my gosh, I would be in love.
So are you going to do a taxidermy? I want to know.
No, she said pet.
Pet, yes, but when it's, you know.
No.
Just putting it out there.
Never know.
It's an idea. So now it could be cute forever. in the corner, like in action. I don't know how deers are in action, like a bear would be in action, but you know what I'm saying. You Want You Need says, I thought taxidermy is the heavy sweating and my skin rash near my wallet pocket when it's tax time. Yeah, that's kind of what that is.
No, it's not.
Duncan says he needs to put his cat burger in the microwave. There you go.
You're fired.
That's good. Right, Jenna? Let's just hand heads on walls.
Yeah, no. It's disturbing.
Duncan, what animal am I keeping in my fridge? Cow. Cow and chicken. Right? And pig. Yes,
Yeah.
we got some pig in the fridge and the freezer. Time to Sell says, I was reviewing feedback today, clicked on feedback through Seller Hub and saw this today. Feedback revision request available 5. Yes. So you can go and ask a buyer to, please, would you consider revising my feedback? And if you send it to them, you get 5 per year. So you got to use them wisely. You can't do it on every negative you get. It's usually should be followed after having a conversation and understanding with the buyer. Like, hey, if I resolve this for you, would you please consider going back in and revising your feedback? Let me send you a link so that you can do it. Save it for those situations, but you only get 5 of those a year. John really cared for Cat Freezer Lady, as she was his first real love, and she never got married and never had kids. Broke his heart. She wasn't mine, but I only wanted her to be happy and fulfilled.
Look at you being
Things
all
work out.
sweet,
Things
John.
work out for the best. Samantha says, I am not in taxidermy. I am into mammals, but not insects. Be rid of all insects. Let's see. Jovia says, someone else bid at 31 exactly. No way another buyer would know these 5 items. Max bid was 30, except the individual running the auction, because you can't see max bid on the site. Let me give you a little secret. I shouldn't even give this secret.
You should give it.
Okay. When I'm on those kind of sites, I don't bid round numbers. I don't bid $30.
Nope.
I bid $1 over, because a lot of people are going to use $30. Just like I don't use 8% to promote. I'll do 8.1%, because a lot of people are like, oh, promote at 8%. Fine, I'll be 0.1 higher than you. So that's the kind of way I look at it. I like to game anything I can game. That's just the way I am. This is a game. And the only difference is we get paid for it if we do it right. So I'm going to play the game and try to game the game the best that I can, if that makes sense. You Want You Need says, right on, Jenna. I love the cha-ching sound, best cash register sound ever. Mm-hmm. Have you ever thought to clip the cha-ching sound for your lives?
I've been telling him to, and he just hasn't gotten around to it.
No, I don't. And the only thing that I have...
What is this?
You sold it on eBay, the hole!
Pressing buttons. So, the only thing that I have that reminds me of eBay, it's not very loud, but it's your hold music.
Oh.
You guys probably can hear it.
It's going to
not...
run for freaking 15 seconds.
Yep. Samantha says, I could never do that. Switch out products. I'd be so nervous they catch me and curse me out.
Yeah.
Mark Sudik says, I'm proud to say I've had 100% rating for 20 years, never once below 100%, and only 1 neutral feedback. Always positive feedback. I've had sales every week for 20 years. So it's something to be proud about. Like it's a sort of a badge of honor that you've done what you can for the buyer. But that's as far as I'd take it. It's not going to kill your account. I've seen too many bad accounts with just too many negatives, in my opinion, but yet they're still making sales. So don't let it bring you down. Don't allow it to, if you get a negative, at some point, don't think it's all over. I suck now, and I just don't think of yourself in a negative way. Just keep pushing forward, and after a year you'll get back to 100%. You Want You Need says, that's very sweet to have a pet deer. Mm-hmm. Have you given the deer a name? Bambi, of course. Gotta give the name of Bambi.
I think she said his name
Bubbles?
is Corky.
Okay.
That's cute.
Marvelous Card says, I forgot to share. I did an experiment and started creating a bunch of auctions, way more than I normally have. And a few days later, boom, I get tons of sales, like way more than the last few months.
Yeah.
I think there's something to
There
it.
is something to it.
So I will be looking for things to auction. like we have that Mike Trout bobblehead. I think I'm gonna probably auction that. I love Mike Trout, but I don't collect bobbleheads, so it's a stadium giveaway. I have it up for sale for like $20. You know, started at $9.99, and you know, I think if that helps with the other sales, that's the whole point. Hustle Man says, "What's your favorite response to what's your lowest?" I already give it to them. When they send me an offer that I feel is too low, I will come back and say, "This is the best that I can do, based on my cost and fees associated with the sale that I have to pay. This is my very best price." And if they come back and try to go lower, which they do at times, because I don't know if they're reading my comment, I'll just keep hitting them with the same price with the same comment, and either they time out or, you know. One guy came back and said, "This is my last chance. I don't have that much money in my account. Sorry, I'm running a business here."
Not my problem.
Underscore, they are making you go to the dedicated offer tab. I haven't seen that.
I think, yeah. I think Rhonda said.
Basket says, "Yeah, you have to click to make an offer, and instead it goes and shows you all your listings." Ryan Hiss says, "Hey everyone, my booth at the Antique Mall is all set up to help supplement my other sales from eBay." There you go.
Nice.
I know people, I think Sonny does that, or used to do that. Sonny Las Vegas used to have a booth in addition to his eBay.
He does.
Does he still do that?
I think.
Big Dre says, got my Uline catalog in the mail today.
Oh, I hate those dang things.
I throw those right in the trash.
Go in the trash.
I don't need it. I don't need this. Ain't 1980. I don't need no Sears catalog, or the J.C. Penney catalog.
I mean, it's not back in the old days where you sit on the toilet and just look at a magazine anymore. Like that doesn't. Most people don't do that anymore.
No. That's a waste of toilet time. You got to have better reading materials than that. Callie Deb says, "It's pretty obvious that they are working on the eBay site and making changes right now."
Ooh.
Yeah. But they can keep working because my sales are hot. So whatever they're doing is working.
My sales are hot.
Marvelous Cards is basically the newly created auctions caused me to have a high increase in sales for my buy it now or best offer listings. So you may be onto something about your theory of creating more auctions. Auctions in my opinion, auctions are dead as a, and a lot of people are going to come back. I use auctions all the time. I mean, if you do, then keep doing it. But as a way to supplement, to make eBay think you're using all the tools, there might be something there. So if you're having slow sales, try running an auction for 7 days. Something that you start off at your cost. And if anything, look at it as a loss leader. Costco, they have those, $1.50 hot dog with a drink or whatever it is.
Well, all their food is cheap.
Well, they lose money on that.
Yeah.
But they know it's going to bring people in to the store to buy the other products. And it works.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
They get us every time.
Mike says, "Yes, we're doing an FAA meetup and a Mike Metco meetup combo."
Yes.
Yes. But you said no. You looked at the calendar and was getting weird with me.
I need to know the day because it's our granddaughter's birthday weekend.
Okay, but that's during the week.
And you have denied me of any trips to California.
I haven't denied anything.
So
the car's right out there. You're welcome to use it.
Don't even threaten me with a good time.
Marvelous Card says, "My new strategy is to just auction off my dead listings that haven't sold to attract new buyers to my other buy it now listings. Maybe using a starting bid reserve price with the best offer option also." I would just set the lowest bid as the lowest you're going to... What is your lowest price on that item? And see if anything happens. Samantha says, "That's why eBay should make them buyers leave feedback. Once feedback is left, transaction is done." Now, I do know that there's another influencer, YouTuber that last week went to some eBay function, came back saying that pretty soon we're going to be getting automatic positive feedbacks left for us. If a buyer doesn't leave feedback within a certain amount of time, the system will automatically leave a generic positive feedback. They can go back in and change it though. It's not locked in the way it is right now.
Who cares?
So that's what he said. So I mean, I have not seen that in writing at all, but that's what he said. Baskin says, "Well, they are right now. It's eBay. Nothing surprises me. Someone farts in South Africa and my account fouls up. Yeah,
Wow.
those
You're
South
a-
African farts. Big Dre says, I'm glad I don't sell on Amazon. I watched a video on CNBC about Amazon returns, and one example was Amazon sending a poop diaper to a customer purchasing diapers, and it ruined the seller's feedback. Wow.
I would die.
Yeah.
The closest we ever came to that is somebody shipped us something back in a diaper box that had shit all over it.
Had on the bubble wrap.
On the bubble
Like
wrap.
they
was
ran out of toilet paper. Let's use this bubble wrap.
so disgusting.
Marvelous Card says, anyways, apologies for spamming the contents. Love your show. Logical, helpful content and energy. Stay cool, my friends. Well, thank you.
No.
I don't look at it as
need to
spam.
apologize.
It's we're glad you're here.
Yeah.
Joseph Mart says, I have some ground up cow in the fridge. And what's his name? You need gift says, you can name your deer You Cutie if you don't have a name for him. I would name it Wobbles, so that when you do get it taxidermied, if it gets like off kiltered, it might wobble a little bit. Jovius says, John or Jenna, try responding to an offer on eBay so you can see the issue. Okay, I will. I just got to get offers.
I don't get offers, so.
Well, you know what I did? I did turn off offers on my items that are new. So I only enable offers after 30 days. So
I don't ever get offers.
Chai says, flipping ain't easy, and neither is this heat wave here in Illinois. Got a smoke deal on an estate sale yesterday. Fill a paper grocery bag for $10. I filled 5 bags, and I have easily $3,000 worth of good stuff.
Nice.
I like that.
Very good.
John is smart. That is why he's rich. So
Obviously
you
not
must be
that
talking
smart
about a different John,
because
but thank you though. Basketo says, well, I get the cha-ching sound at camp, and folks look at me like, wait. I just point out Mr. Winky.
Wait, what?
What? Chai Charon says, silver spoons, jewelry, crayons, vintage tools, silk scarves. Place was like a time capsule, and the family was doing their own estate sale to give good deals versus paying the estate company 50%.
That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. Third one today for Lynn.
Nice.
Chai Sharon says, I think most estate sale companies take advantage of people in my area. That's where I don't go. I just don't see anything I like. Maybe I just need to go to more of them, but I don't know.
It's Chicago, isn't it?
Big Dre says, I asked the buyer to revise neutral to a positive because I shipped the item the same day it was purchased. Not my fault the carrier delivered the item late, but they did not respond. I mean, don't use that tool until you get verbal or a confirmation from the buyer that, yeah, they would. If you sent them the request, they'll fill it out. Devon says, I think I can share pictures on Discord of the pet deer and cabin.
I
Yes.
would love that. I would love that.
And go check out the Discord, guys. The link is below in the description of this video. Go sign up. Now, rumor has it at some point we're going to do some kind of a contest. I don't know how that's going to work out, but you're only going to be able to win if you're signed up on the Discord as a member and subscribe to the channel. So stay tuned for that one. Maybe it's something we do closer to eBay Open or something. Chai says, John, I want to buy a fridge shelf from you and then return it back to you with hair on it and a $20 bill attached to it. Well, hell, that'd have been better than what I got this week. Yeah. Glenn says, I always say, what's your best offer, and go from there.
Yeah.
It's like you go to a yard sale and you go to somebody and they're
What do you want?
got it all set up,
What do you want
and
for this?
you're like, hey, how much for this? And they're like, you make me an offer.
I don't know. What do you think?
You don't know. You want to know what I think.
You don't want to know.
'Cause what I think
mine starts with an F.
Not that low.
Free.
No.
That's my. If
That's
you're gonna
rude.
ask me,
Okay, that's rude. I already can see the comments right now. That's rude to go to someone's yard sale and say, can I have it for free, when they ask you to make an offer.
exactly. That was my offer. That was my offer.
That's rude.
I don't care.
You got to be
I
fair.
honestly
would
would never do that.
Then you
But
have
that
no
is-
reason to complain when you get a lowball offering you $1 for
I don't
a
get
$100
any-
item.
I don't get offers.
Glenn says, yes, auctions, I believe, do help sales. More eyes and traffic, it helps.
Yeah.
I think so. There's got to be something to that. Trying Try to get to the new comments if I
You
can.
think he really belongs to your neighbors?
Yes. Mike Mecco says Art of Resale has a booth at Broadacres.
Yes,
Yeah,
he does.
he does. I gotta go by there someday and check it out. Pico says we already have automatic feedback left for buyers here in the UK. We have it. I use it. You Want Your Need says that's wild. I've never thought that a deer could get adopted like that. It's great news. Great news. Yes, 2-day event.
I love their eyes.
2-day event, 15th and 16th of August, says Mike.
It's going to pose a very big problem.
Time to Sell Collectible says, my lowball response. Your offer is appreciated. Unfortunately, I cannot accept this offer. This is already priced well below value. With that said, if you're still interested, I can offer you this % off. I like it. You guys can copy that if you want and take it for your own. That's a pretty good one. Happy Reality Passion Happy says, hello, everyone, and happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you. And John says, you guys have the worst luck.
Yeah.
That and the meatballs now Schlitt wrap.
Telling you.
That was like back in 2019, the whole Schlitt wrap thing.
Schlitt wrap. What is Schlitt?
The bubble wrap, wrap toilet paper.
Yeah.
Samantha Hunter says, hit those thumbs up for John and Jenna.
Yes. Do it.
Mandy says, you can get feedback removed if it was due to shipping delay from your shipping company. Yeah, you just select out of my control, that kind of thing. Christopher Nutter, I put the sale out of the paper plates in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
Thrift Gorilla says, thanks for the show, John and Jenna. Jen and John, have great rest of your night. Happy sales. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Devon says, he's so cute. He is very social with people, so I think the neighbors own him.
Oh, I want to go there and love on him.
Well, just look at the Discord.
I really need a vacation, you guys. You just have no idea.
So, guys, I think we are at the end of the comments. Like Ping says, have a great week, and we'll have to see you guys on Friday. You know, these chargebacks and other crazy
Low
things.
ball offers.
Yeah, chargebacks, low ball offers too. They're going to happen.
I think I said that.
Yeah, they're going to happen. And it's yet another example of how flipping ain't easy.
Ain't easy.
Want you guys to have an excellent rest of your week. And leave your comments, subscribe, do all the things.
I want to see that baby Bambi.
And darn it, go sign up on the Discord. We have some conversations going on over there right now. And we want you to be a part of it. So go check that out.
Yes.
And we'll see you next time, guys.
Have a great week.
Oh, don't
we
forget,
love you.
Don't forget the members only live on Wednesday. We're going to do a roundtable live conversation, and we go through other people's stores and look at the good things they're doing, the things that they're not doing so great, to kind of give ourselves some ideas as to what we should be doing. So come join us. If you want to be a member, click on the little link below and sign up. But until then, we will see you guys this week and on Friday. Take care.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. Vero takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. All resellers are gonna make mistakes. Learn from them, and you'll have what it takes. In the world of reselling, we're your guide. With flipping ain't easy, by your side. Sourcing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that's within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy, let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast Profit Playbooks. The name with Scott and Josh. Flipping's more than a game. Chargebacks, returns, and lowball offers too. A Fero takedowns, they're a pain, what can we do? High selling fees, bad buys, and rude buyers galore. Flipping ain't easy, but we keep coming back for more. Oh. Choosing great items is the key to success. Subscribe to the channel and stand above the rest. Focus on the thing that's within your control. Hang with flipping ain't easy. Let's roll. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast, Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game. Catch the live streams on Mondays and Fridays. Join the Discord community for the parlays. Tune into the podcast, Profit Playbook's the name. With Scott and Josh, flipping's more than a game.